Good evening, and welcome to my How Healthy Are You weekly educational call. My name is Dr. Thomas Brewer. I'm a PhD chemist, and my topic for this evening's call is about acne. And a lot of people don't realize the significance when one has acne. It's actually a link to an enzyme issue. So I'm going to go into a little more detail. I've noticed I'll be looking at people's blood, but I'll also look at their faces, and not just adolescents, but even adults will have acne, and they'll go to various dermatologists, skin doctors, and give them some creams. Nothing seems to work. Give them some hormone pills. They still have the problem, and they end up living with it. And sometimes the acne even progresses so that it looks more like a skin irritation or even a rash. So this is a possibility and something to learn. So about 85% of young people, adolescents, they seem to get acne, but of course even adults have it too. It turns out that acne is a product and is something seen only in industrialized countries. So typically the West and any other country where there's manufacturing and considered world leaders. That's where we see acne. Well, that should present a bit of a problem because in non-industrialized areas of the world, there's pretty much no acne. Now, scientifically, what happens with acne and a lot of its cause is an enzyme, and this enzyme has an acronym known as mTOR or mTOR. The M stands for mammalian, and the TOR stands for target of rapamycin. Well, you'll probably forget that immediately, but what's important to remember is this enzyme acts to instruct cells whether to grow or not to grow, especially if there's a lot of food around. So you'd think, well, that's a good thing. Well, actually the enzyme is a bad thing because it's also known as an aging enzyme. It stimulates a lot of aging in our bodies. This enzyme senses nutrients, and then it controls the production of various proteins, and the end result is inflammation and aging. Now, the problem with this enzyme is it causes acne, and if left unchecked, the next step is prostate cancer for men and breast cancer for women. So there's a link between acne and these two cancers, and the common thread is this mTOR enzyme. The reason it gets out of hand is when we consume too many dairy products. These dairy products, like milk and cheese and products like that, not eggs, but milk and cheese specifically, dairy products, they stimulate this mTOR. The reason this happens is dairy products from a cow are technically the wrong species for us. So babies don't have this problem because the milk from cows has a lot of an amino acid called leucine. And when we get too much leucine, it stimulates this mTOR enzyme. So the solution here is, some dietary counseling of young people. And because if they have acne, they should essentially eliminate dairy products, at least for a while, or maybe forever if they're that sensitive to it. The foods that do the opposite, meaning they don't stimulate this mTOR enzyme, are fruits and vegetables. Again, this comes up a lot. When we eat more fruits and vegetables, good things happen. I don't believe that everybody needs to only eat fruits and vegetables, and life gets kind of boring when that's all you eat, and it's somewhat hard to eat only fruits and vegetables. But shifting to more fruits and vegetables has so many benefits, and one of them is you'll get a lot less inflammation and a lot less aging as a result of this mTOR enzyme. And there are thousands and thousands of enzymes in the body, and normally when I'm talking about enzymes, I'm talking about digestive enzymes like protease and amylase and lipase and sucrase and fibrase, which are in the enzyme products I sell. But there are thousands more enzymes in the body. A lot of them are synthesized by various cells and organs and used very quickly. All of them haven't even been identified because the time that they're around is very short. There's even hormones that haven't been fully analyzed yet. So we're still learning about the various molecules that get produced in the body, whether they're enzymes or hormones. This mTOR enzyme is something you don't want to make too much of. The end product is prostate cancer and breast cancer, but along the way, a lot of inflammation, and the first stage is acne formation. So one easy way, if you know someone suffering from acne, and it's most likely an adolescent, get them off dairy first. The next step would be even other animal products for a short time, such as the various meats, chicken and beef and pork and things like that, including eggs, just to see if they have to get off that completely. It's very hard not to eat any animal products. It's a tough thing to do. It's somewhat controversial. You'll see studies where people are stronger and faster and better, and then you'll see other studies that say, no, they're not. They're smaller and weaker and less power, and it just runs the gamut. But to get rid of acne and to get rid of the inflammation associated with it, and it's a big problem for young people because they don't want to have all that acne on their face and on their body. If that solves the problem, one thing I recommend, stay off the dairy until a person gets older and their hormones shift a bit. And that way they don't have to deal with trying to balance their hormones with medication when all they have to do is eliminate dairy. So that's what I have for my introductory topic. I'm going to get off lecture mode, open up the call to questions. Here we go. So if we have any questions, now's the time to ask them.
Yes, I would like to know more about your diet plan. So I'm Rhonda Good, Travis's mother. We had talked a little bit about the, keeping the carbs down. I would like to know what your best plan that you would recommend, for somebody like Travis.
Right. So that is called the slow carbohydrate diet, not low carbohydrate. Very bad to have low amount of carbohydrates. Good way to die. Slow means slow burning carbohydrates. I do have a video explaining slow burning carbohydrates. What it means is low glycemic index carbohydrates. So that's on previous newsletters. It was linked. It's also on YouTube. Just go to Dr. Thomas Brewer on YouTube without the Las Vegas ending, just Dr. Thomas Brewer, and you'll see a video on what's called the carbohydrate hierarchy. And in the diet to burn fat and to have fun doing it, you'd want to do what's called the slow carbohydrate diet. What that means, in a nutshell, is the only carbohydrates you consume for 6 days, 6 consecutive days, is from vegetables. So, more detail, well, since fruit has carbohydrates, you're not eating fruit for 6 days. Since rice and potatoes a starchy carb, I know it's a vegetable, but they're out. Candy, sugar's a carbohydrate, it's out. Dairy has carbohydrates. They're the dairy sugars. Lactose, typically carbohydrates end in OSE. That's out. The only way you would have any dairy would be a teaspoon or two of high-fat milk in coffee. High fat, so either full fat or even half and half, because it's a lower glycemic index than non-fat dairy, which is somewhat surprising to people. But the fat lowers the conversion of any carbohydrate to glucose, and that's the whole point of this diet. Your only carbohydrate source for 6 days is from vegetables. Vegetables are the slowest burning of the carbohydrate. It's like hardwood on a fire versus paper on a fire. So we want the hardwood, the slow burning carbohydrates. There's only one source, and that's vegetables. So your foods that you would typically eat when trying to burn fat on a slow carbohydrate diet are vegetables, but you can also eat meat on this diet. You can eat eggs on this diet, and you can eat nuts and seeds, and as a fat source. You can eat avocados as a fat source, but you're not eating fruits. You're not eating anything else with dairy other than the small amount you put in coffee or something like that. And you won't be having any of the starchy carbohydrates like rice and potatoes. So that's 6 days. You can go to any restaurant and eat. You can go to a Mexican restaurant and order fajitas. Just don't eat the tortillas. Fajitas are meat and vegetables on a stick. If there's guacamole on the table, it's good. You just don't have any chips, because tortilla chips or any chip is a source of carbohydrates that is not from vegetables. You can go to a Thai restaurant and get something called spicy basil and their meat dishes with vegetables. You just don't have rice. You get a side order of vegetables, steamed vegetables, and you're good. You're fine. Salads with meat on top, or salads with egg on top, or salads with fish, or poke bowls and things like that, all good. All good things to eat. What happens when you eat 6 days like this, you're going to notice you're not bloated. You'll be full but not bloated. You'll feel like you could eat more, but you don't really need to. And that's the benefit of eating slow-burning carbohydrates. So in this case, vegetables, vegetables, vegetables. You eat as many vegetables as you want. It is not a low-carbohydrate diet. On the 7th day, you can fool your friends and tell everyone how much weight you're losing, and they can watch what you eat on the 7th day, because on the 7th day, you can eat anything you want, and you will be craving pizza, donuts, candy, ice cream, chocolate bars, candy bars, you name it. You'll be craving those foods. All fair game. In fact, enjoy yourself because you earned it. You earned it during those 6 days of not eating any carbohydrates that were not from vegetables. And most of all our boxed foods contain carbohydrates not from vegetables. So you're somewhat limited when you eat during those 6 days. But on the 7th day, enjoy yourself. You can fool your friends and let them think you eat that way all 7 days when they don't realize you really earned it. When you eat all these other carbohydrate source foods, these fat-burning carbohydrates on the 7th day, it resets your thyroid so that during the next 6 days, when you get into the next week, the diet keeps working. If you don't have a cheat day, and I've never found anyone that didn't want to cheat, but if you don't have a cheat day, you'll get a diminishing return of fat weight loss. Every week it'll be less and less. So that cheat day is what allows you to keep burning fat very safely without going into full ketosis. So you're in a mild state of ketosis without being in full-blown ketosis, which is very dangerous. You make too much ammonia when you're in ketosis, and it can kill you being in ketosis for long periods of time. So you're just in a sub-state of ketosis for 6 days. The other big benefit of this diet, not just scientifically it works, and it is considered the best, safest, all-around most successful diet out there, because it has a cheat day, there is no other diet that people will adhere to, because there's just no way to end any other diet. But your diet ends on the 7th day. You're only on it for 6 days. So you know the beginning and the end of every week, and that's your diet. So you know when it ends, and that makes you want to stay on it. It's very effective, very healthy, and your body won't go back into fat storage mode unless you stay on a cheat day more than a day, more than 12 hours. So if you eat all these, we'll call them bad carbs, bad carbohydrate source foods, for more than 12 hours, you'll gradually go back into fat storage mode. But you'll still be in fat burning mode even on cheat day. For those of you interested, let me know when you start the diet. I can give you some hints on what to do on cheat day to make it even more effective that you keep burning fat. But the whole point is to burn fat, to use it as an energy source. Fat is a great energy source, and in order to get stored fat to be utilized as energy, this is the best way to do it, and really the most fun. You just live for that 7th day, but it's a lot of fun. Do you have any questions on the slow carbohydrate diet? There's usually a bunch of questions.
Thank you. I think that answers it pretty well. Just one. So what about corn? Is corn out? Like, is that with the starchy rice and potatoes?
Yeah, corn is a grain. It's actually not even a vegetable.
Okay,
so
true.
Grains are out because grains are a carbohydrate that isn't a vegetable. One thing I forgot to mention, beans are in. Beans are in, but beans are also a vegetable. So you can utilize beans because they'll help fill you up and keep you full. What we tend to do as a society is we satiate ourselves with starchy carbohydrates. So carbohydrates from flour, like breads, from potato, or from rice. So that's what we tend to do. And if we don't eat those foods, you will notice you're not as bloated, but you still consumed a lot of nutrition, a lot of nutrients, but you're just not bloated. You'll have a lot more energy. And once you go into this minimal state of ketosis, it's not full-blown ketosis, your body will go into it after about 2 days. And you'll notice you're just burning fat. And if you cheat before the cheat day, you just ruined the whole week. So there's no room for error. There is no, I'll sneak a bite of a cookie. I'll have just a bite of pizza. I'll just taste some candy. That just ruined it. And the only people that fail at this cheat before their cheat day. So it's all in or don't do it.
Got it. Thank you. What are your tips what are the tips for the cheat day to make this even more effective?
Wow, that's good. Good question. So the tips are, number one, your cheat day starts when you get up, not at midnight. Okay, so the cheat day is essentially 12 hours, it's not a 24-hour day. Second, your first meal of the day, and it doesn't even have to be much of a meal, don't make it a bad cheat meal. You can if you want, but it's better if your first meal, even something small, like just an egg, would be just an egg, and then after that, eat all your junk, like bagels and bread and donuts and coffee cake and things like that. Third, before each junk meal or high carbohydrate, fast burn carbohydrate meal, you want to do about 15 to 30 seconds of some sort of quick cardio in place. You can run in place. You can do jumping jacks. You can do whatever. Do some sort of movement for 15 to 30 seconds before you eat that meal. That will minimize the effect of that high fast burn carbohydrate meal. You don't have to do this. It just makes it even better. It's not like it's going to matter to you. You're still going to eat the ice cream and the cake. So it really doesn't matter if you exercise a little bit beforehand. And it's only 15 to 30 seconds of some sort of high cardio type movement, like something called high intensity training. It's something real fast and short. And then as a supplement that decreases the effect of the fast burn carbohydrates, it is a supplement that you can buy in any vitamin store. It's called alpha lipoic acid. the acronym is ALA. So you would take a capsule of that, just like you would with your enzyme, and take that before that high glycemic index meal. ALA is also great for diabetics. So those are the tips on cheat day. You don't have to do any of them. The diet will still work. It just makes it even better.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
I had a question about, you recommend this raw celery juice, and I was just wondering if you have any recommendations about any type of a juicer that does small amounts like that without too much trouble and all.
Yeah. I forget the name of our juicer, but it's a juicer that's like a piston pump instead of a spinning blade. I forget the name of it, the brand.
Would where would the person be able to purchase that?
They're in any department type store with a kitchen department. You know, stores like Macy's and Home Goods and Walmart will have it. You know, in their small kitchen appliance aisle.
And it's called a juicer, or is it a different name for it?
It'll be a juicer. It'll be called a juicer, and it'll have a long horizontal apparatus that's like it's like a screw. It's like an extruder.
About what do they cost? Is it something as I take a look for?
A little over $100 is typical.
And is that electric, or is that something you do by hand?
It is electric. I recommend juicing by hand when you use the lemon water, the warm lemon water, before your celery juice. I recommend you just get a little hand juicer. You just cut the lemon in half and just kind of twist it on the top, and it's very effective at getting all the lemon juice out.
Okay.
But yeah, the celery juicer, it's a bit of an investment, but it is well worth it. I mean, it's one of the best things you can do for the health of all of your organs and your immune system, and to detox on a daily basis.
Does it put the pulp out then, or do you just do it till it gets full and take it apart and take it out, or how does that work?
So there isn't a lot of pulp with celery, and you can run it for a while before much pulp develops. So you'll just keep going. The pulp comes out one hole, and the juice comes out another. So you can just keep going. So it's continuous.
So if you just want to do it
out in a string, it'll come out like a string. So it's not like the other types of juicers where eventually they get clogged. This will never clog.
And therefore you can do a small amount or a larger amount, whatever you need.
Right. So you want to make 4 to 8 ounces of celery juice, 4 to 6 ounces. Really, the point is consistency every day. You'll notice remarkable changes in the body other than the juicer, it's essentially free because you're going to eat anyway, and celery is not expensive.
Uh-huh.
So I don't consider food an expense item if I tell you to eat something, because it's really not above and beyond what you're doing anyway. You're going to eat anyway.
Is celery a big pesticide item or not?
It is. That's why you get the organic.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for that. But you said a piston pump. It's or is it more like a screw that takes it all down through?
It's both.
Both. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you're in the aisle for these kitchen appliances, you'll notice it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think Walmart has that?
Yeah. You could even ask in another store. Walmart employees probably won't know, but if you went to a home goods type store, whoever works in that department will know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh. And even Macy's might have it.
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much for that. That sounds like it's something worth getting.
It is. I mean, it's one of the best investments you can do for your health, and you just keep using it every day. I mean, the only time I don't use mine is if I'm traveling, and I look forward to the day I get back home to use it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Okay. If not, appreciate everyone's attention on the call, and we really had some great information, especially about the slow carbohydrate diet, because that's something I talk about in the office, but now it'll be recorded essentially as a podcast. So I appreciate everyone who spends the time to listen to me. I'll be doing another call next week. Until then, stay healthy. Okay, good night, everybody.